Who will stay? Who will go? That is the question on everyone's mind at the moment. We've done a lot of business in this transfer window, brought in 8 players, drastically improved the squad, but now we want to bring in some more. But to be able to do that, we need to be able to sell some players, we need to make some room in our squad, and we need to raise some funds. Now, is that going to be an easy task? No, it's not. You've got to find a team who wants to buy these players, and the players have got to want to go to those teams. So yeah, that is the first hurdle you've got to go over. And with West Ham, there's always something else. You just have a look at the Zuma situation. We're trying to move him on. He's over in Dubai, but can't pass a medical because of his bad knees. Those bad knees, which we knew about when we signed him. So that's our own fault. And we could actually be in a very similar situation with another player that we want to try and move on in Maxwell Cornet. We knew he had injury problems when we signed him, and it's also thought that he would struggle to pass a medical if he ever had to take one. So yeah, we've got a similar problem with Maxwell Cornet. And we've got another problem when it comes to Danny Ings, another player that we wouldn't mind getting off our books considering the amount of money that he is on. And that's exactly the reason why we would struggle, because of the amount of money that he's on. He's thought that not many teams will be willing to pay him what we are paying him. And so he doesn't want to leave. He had an opportunity apparently at the beginning of the transfer window to go to Southampton, but rejected it. Wanted to stay, fight for his place, or continue getting paid £125,000 a week. Whatever it is, can you really blame him? No, you can't. So yeah, they're the players that ideally we would like to move on. And also, if we did manage to move Danny Ings on, there is a possibility we could bring in another striker, which would be my preference. But I do think we are going to struggle to move Danny Ings on. So I find it unlikely that we could bring in another striker. But there are other players that we could bring in other positions. We look at the midfield, for example, Carlos Soler from PSG, a player we're very interested in and we want to bring in. But does raise the question, if he comes in, what does that mean for our other midfielders? We've got Andy Irving, of course, in there that is probably very likely to move on, whether it's a permanent deal or a loan deal. I think we should be able to find a deal for him. But if we did bring Soler in and we got rid of Irving, then you're still left with Rodriguez, Alvarez, who is probably going to be out until just after the international break, and then he should be back. You got Paquetá, you got Soucek, you got Ward-Prowse, right? So there'll be 6 midfielders there for 3 positions. Now, Lopetegui did say that he would like 2 players for every position, so that does kind of fit the bill. And there is also a possibility that Paquetá could get banned at some point in the season, so we may be thinking ahead there as well and trying to cover ourselves now rather than later. But would all those players be happy in that situation? Is there a possibility that we could entertain offers for players like Soucek or James Ward-Prowse? I think that is possible. They might leave. They may not. I think I would be surprised if they were both still there, but at the same time, I don't think I would. Thinking about it, I can see them both staying. Now, does Soucek really fit a Lopetegui system? This is the big question that's been going on at the moment. I don't think he does personally. I think he is fantastic when he passes the 18-yard line of a box at either end, but in the middle, really, really struggles. Carlos Soler, completely different player, suits Lopetegui's system a lot more, and he probably would be the favourite to start in that midfield over Soucek. But then you've also got James Ward-Prowse, who I think would be more suited to a Lopetegui system. Does work really hard, can pass the ball, and can be a little bit of a menace going forward as well. So, yeah, no, there is a lot of questions with that midfield over which players would stay. So, yeah, we may see one of those move on. But I think the most likely position where we would see some change before the end of the transfer window would be the defence. You've got Mavropanos and you got Aguerd. Aguerd is thought to want to move away from West Ham United, and considering that he was left out of the squad entirely for the Aston Villa game at the weekend, might indicate that Lopetegui is open to letting him go over Mavropanos, because of course he did start Mavropanos. Now, is that because Mavropanos is a right-sided centre-back and Aguerd is a left-sided centre-back? So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. So I think we are open to offers for both players, but we won't let both go. But if we let one go, it would mean that we bring in another centre-back. Who that centre-back would be, not too sure at the moment. It does depend which one would go, I would assume. Because obviously if you're letting a left-sided centre-back go, they probably would prefer to bring in another left-sided centre-back. But if they let Mavropanos go, a right-sided centre-back, they would prefer to bring in one of those. So there is some possibilities there as well. But I think another question that does have to be asked is, do we really need to make any more signings? Do we really? I mean, we've made up. We've improved in nearly every position that we needed to really improve in. So do we need more signings? Do we need to spend any money? Or do we try and save some deals for maybe January? You know, maybe some things don't work out. Maybe we get some big injuries and we need to have some money available then. Do we do that? Do we just settle for what we've got now? I feel like we've had a 10 out of 10 window. I'm not going to complain if we get anyone else in. And I do think we do need another centre midfielder. I think we're okay in defence. And I think we're okay up top because you've still got players like Kudus and Bowen who can fit in there as well. But yeah, a midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder who's really good on the ball and really has got sort of good progressive passing on him as well, I think would be really good for us. And I really like the idea of Carlos Soler. So I do hope that that is a deal that we get done. But if we didn't, it does say, do we really need someone? I think we do. I think we do. Maybe not 2 or 3 signings, but maybe 1. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We're going to have to wait and see if any teams come in for any of our players, if any of our players are open to moves away from West Ham United. But until we do move some players on, I think it's unlikely that we will bring any more players in. And with just under 2 weeks to go until the transfer window ends, it could get quite tight. It could get quite tight, but it could also get very busy very, very quickly. So it could end up being a very interesting end to the transfer window. We will just have to wait and see. And I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching this video over on the West Ham Network Extra channel. I will be live tomorrow night on the main West Ham Network YouTube channel for Alex's TikTok takeover at 9 PM tomorrow night. And I will also be live again around 8 PM on Thursday night, where I will be talking to a Crystal Palace fan in preparation for our game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. As per usual, if you like this video, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button. We'll greatly appreciate it. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you are watching. Come on, you Irons.